This is Mark.
Mark Thompson's Josh Todd. How are you?
I am amazing and even better that you're calling, buddy. How are you?
Awesome. Good.
Good, man. So before we even get going, man, this album has kicked my ass.
Awesome.
I mean,
So glad you like it.
dude, energy, passion, there's some anger in there. I guess I got to ask, what happened?
I had to make the record of my career again. That's what happened. It was just time for me to make a new record, and it had been a while, and there was a lot of stuff going on in my life at the time, and it just makes for good songwriting.
Well, I mean, it's, obviously people have been treated to, Year of the Tiger so far, but I think when they get to hear
Yes.
the depth of the album, when they hear Inside or they hear Rain, they hear some of these songs,
Yes.
there's a lot of dynamics going on, dude. I'm impressed.
Thank you. Yeah, it's hard for me to sit on it, honestly, because we finished recording it in March, and I've been chomping at the bit, and we had to wait for the proper time and have everybody in place, and I'm so glad you like it. We're working on the Rain video right now, and it's a rad concept video. And, we dropped Year of the Tiger and Fucked Up online just for online promotion, and it's going, the rollout's going really good.
Definitely, the rollout's definitely critical. But just to go back, you said you had a lot going on in your life. Were these things personally, or was it professionally that things were going on?
Just in my life, in every aspect of my life, professionally, personally, and it always makes for great songwriting,
I think some of the best songs we've experienced in our lives have been things that are true stories, encounters, and something that's personal, because it's more relatable that way to the public.
Absolutely. I think, people can sniff out, fiction. So I truly believe that, and I've always wanted to make honest records. I'm very proud of all the records that I've been a part of. I write all the lyrics and melodies my whole career, and it means a lot to me.
Well, awesome. So tell me about the name. How did the name come about?
It all kind of started last year. I was on the road with Buck Cherry and Stevie D, the guitar player, and I, longtime friends before we were even in a band. I've known him since I was 19, and I really wanted to make some new music, and at the time we were just out on the road, so I was like, I need somebody to make me some beats. And he goes, I can make you beats. And so we started writing songs on the laptop. We got an Apogee mic at the Apple Store, and we were writing on Logic, a computer program, and we wrote an EP for this clothing company that I had called Spray Gun War, and we put out an EP called Into the Blackness on our own, not on a label, and we had a lot of fun doing it, and it came out really great for what we were working with at the time, and we just kind of figured out through that process that we really enjoyed writing songs together, and because we didn't get an opportunity to do that a lot prior to that, Stevie D would co-write every now and again in Buck Cherry, but he didn't get the opportunity to do what he does now, and so he's a really well-rounded musician, and it came time when we got off the road. It was November. I didn't know what was going on with DC. I could only kind of sense what was coming because the last 3 years of DC were not good, So I was just moving on as far as artistically, and I was like, I want to make a heavy rock record. I want it to be more along the lines of my roots and how I came up, and I want a 4-piece band, and I just told him everything that I wanted in the conflict, and we just started writing songs. And I think Year of the Tiger was a song that kind of kicked off everything. That was a song where we were like, this is fucking dope. This is what the record's got to be. And then we just started hustling and finished the rest of the songwriting and recorded the record in March.
You said this project was more about kind of what you kind of grew up with in your roots. Care to elaborate on where that comes from?
Yeah, I came up in Southern California, and all my, when I was a kid, I listened to just independent punk rock records for the majority of my childhood, and I really liked the aggressive nature of it. I liked the honesty in those records. They weren't on major labels, so they were saying whatever they wanted to say, and I really related to those records as a kid, you know, and I always have this formula when I write a record that I want to make the 15-year-old kid in me happy, and if I can impress him, because I was a hard kid to impress, I would tell you my thoughts on anything at the time, no matter if they were good or bad, on anything that I was listening to, you know. So I was a tough critic, and if I can make that kid happy, then I feel like I've done my job. And I feel like if I would have had this record when I was 15, that I would have been fucking stoked.
Well, that's, you know, interesting. You talk, you know, I used to live in LA, lived up in the Valley actually, and you said you were a hard kid to impress, and, you know, LA and New York are always the toughest crowds, bands always say, because it's always everybody standing there with their arms crossed saying, impress me, you know.
Yeah.
But the energy from this album just emanates, and you feel it's like, holy crap, this record is put, you know, in Spinal Tap fashion, put it at 11 and let it go, because it's fantastic.
So glad, you know, you feel that way. So you can tell everybody you know that. Yeah, you know, I believe in it just like you do, and now it's like, really want to get a hit with Rain and go do a worldwide tour and just fucking murder people. That's all I care about, you know. I mean, murder audiences, meaning just leave them, you know, wanting more.
See, that would make a good clickbait title for the interview. Josh Todd wants to murder audiences. Talk, you know, 'cause everything's all based on that one sentence. You know, but so much. I mean,
they would take it. It's too bad because they would take it all out of context. Context, and, you know.
And I think that integrity factor that, you know, people in the press take from artists, you know, is they take that one sentence and don't put in the last words, and people click on it, and then it's something else. You know, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. Yeah. You know. So let's jump music real quick. I'm gonna jump music with you. What's the guilty pleasure you have in life that nobody knows about?
Musically, I listen to a lot of pop music. You know, a lot of pop music, because as a songwriter, I feel like, and a singer, like that's where it's at. You know, so the issue I have with mainstream rock right now is when I listen to it, it just, you know, there's a reason why rock is in the place that it's at. It sounds like, and I'm not, you know, this isn't with everybody, of course, but, you know, sometimes I listen to rock radio and I'm like, this just sounds like a band putting their shit through a formula that pleases their record label so they can fit on a radio format, and none of it sounds sincere, and none of it is, like, outrageous, is unforgettable. You know what I mean? And that, to me, is not fun, you know? And none of it is, like, when I listen to, like, new hip-hop now, it's like, ooh, this is the way, like, old rock used to be. It's like, man, they're saying shit in old hip-hop that's just crazy. It's fucking, it's cool. I mean, that's where I like to go to hear people really, you know, pushing the envelope, you know, is in new hip-hop. It's a lot of fun. And even, like my favorite artist right now is Bruno Mars. I just think he's so fucking talented, and he's also a risk taker. He doesn't follow, like, the normal pop formats. And I just think he's such a well-rounded musician as far as performance, the songwriting, the singing, the lyric writing. It's like he's the fucking total package. You only get a guy like him once in a fucking decade, you know?
That's so true. But what's, you know, I think genius about his albums is not one song sounds like the next. And he's not afraid to do that.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
And his band is badass, too. His band is in the pocket. They're smooth. And it's like...
The whole thing. I watched him live, and I'm like, fucking A, man. This guy is incredible. Just ridiculous.
Speaking of Bruno Mars being a talented musician, obviously, you know, we lost Prince a while back, and you guys, you know, knock out, you know, a cover on your album.
Uh-huh.
Pretty cool cover. What brought you guys to that one?
What a goddamn shame that was.
Yeah, how'd you guys pick that song to do as a cover?
The cover is Erotic City, and, you know, Stevie and I are huge Prince fans. I've seen him live many times, and he's a guy, you know, it's funny, he's the guy that I thought that was going to be very old and always performing really well, and he would always have his voice, and he was always going to be outrageous live. You know, he was going to do that until he was like 70. You know, and I never thought he was going to be a guy that was going to die young. So that being said, you know, as soon as he died, you know, everybody around the world started performing Prince songs live, and it just wasn't the time to do anything like that. But you know, when we were in making this record, I was like, let's do Erotic City. It's like, let's make it sound like a conflict again. And I think, you know, we pulled it off really nicely, and it's so much fun to perform live as well. And now we do all these, in the middle of that, we do all these solo runs live, and it's fucking sick.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see it. What's the road look like for you guys coming up?
Well, we are working really hard on trying to find a package tour for the fall. Really hard. And there's a lot of tours that have already been put together, and so it's become kind of challenging for us at the moment, but we'll find something that fits. And now we're just doing, you know, key shows here and there. Like, we got a show with Bush coming up, and we got a show with Frankie Perez in Vegas coming up, and so we're looking hard right now for the right situation, but we're going to be touring all through the fall, worldwide, all through next year.
Awesome. So, I mean, you've lasted, you've had a career, you've had a living. I mean, you know, you put out the Buck Cherry albums, you're still here, you know, 20 years later. What would you say to those younger guys who are starting out today? What would you say to them?
You better be passionate, and you better be ready to work, because if you want to stay in this game, you got to have thick skin, and you got to be passionate, and you got to be ready to work. And if you don't have those things, then don't even waste your time. It's
true. And if you think today, you know, social media is great for, you know, the Instagrams, the Twitters, the Facebooks, all that stuff is great. But it's also, I think, created a here today, gone later today mentality, because the attention span's not there for people.
It's just ADD. It's made it like, as far as getting information out there, it's very cheap, right? And that's good. But it's like everybody's inundated with information, so it's very hard to get people to keep coming back and to stay focused on it, you know? So, you know, that just means you got to have really great skills, and you got to really have great songs, and you got to kind of rise above all the mediocre people in the game, you know, and that takes a lot of hard work and passion and dedication and follow through, you know.
Well, you've definitely put it out there, you know, in your prior band, obviously out there with, you know, Josh Todd on the Conflict. I mean, you've got definitely my ears and are ready to pump this album out there. We will get this interview out there for you. When you guys roll through town or wherever you're at, we will be there to take photos, help you guys spread the word. Definitely believe in it, man. It's hard to see a new project. Sometimes they don't get the legs or the respect they deserve, but this has it, man. I'm really proud and, you know, happy to talk with you today.
Awesome, Mark. Appreciate that.
Any last words for the fans?
If you see us out there and you're close by, make sure you come out and check it out.
100%, dude. I'm there.
All right.
All right, man. Hey, dude, have a great day. Thanks for everything.
You too. Be good. Bye.
You bet.